Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. I really don't have the energy. I'm not there yet. I'm not there. Stephen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
I'm fine. I'm Brent Hazard, joined by Richard Schwartz, who does not read any text messages I send.
I read them. They were boring.
Okay, stop.
They were boring.
Okay.
I can't even remember. They were so boring.
Stop. I text messaged the whole crew. And let me go ahead and say this. We haven't been saying this for a while. The first segment or the first part of the show is brought to you by Life Pop. If you need any video recording, any weddings or any birthdays or anything like that, give my boy Reggie Wheaton a call at Life Pop. And is that racial? Can I call Reggie my boy? Did I just my videographer?
I don't think you're supposed to use that.
I'm not supposed to use as
no.
in love and endearing.
No,
it's X.
Yeah.
Reggie, were you offended by that?
Not at all.
Okay. But anyways, just call my main man Reggie Wheaton at Life
that's
Pop,
better. That's better.
and he will take care of you. But anyway, we send out text messages about what we're going to talk about, and Richie does not read a damn thing.
I almost fell asleep trying to read them.
Okay, there were 7 topics on the text.
They were so boring I couldn't
2.
remember. I fell asleep by the second
It was
one.
all about COVID. You couldn't even say that.
I fell asleep. I just fell asleep. It was such boring. Guys, we're going to change the subject.
This is exactly.
boring.
Stop. This is exactly what he does to us every time. We'll walk in, and Steven's asked, because sometimes, Steven, you like to do research.
Yes.
And
sometimes.
I mean, we all. You have a family. We all have careers. So we get to the topics when we can, but mostly it's current conversations and it's opinion. So there's not a lot of research to do. Well, let me go ahead and say this. I need to correct myself on the Gore versus Bush. I got the facts wrong. There was an automatic recount. The Republicans, I said last time, the Republicans argued for a recount in Broward County. It was an automatic recount.
Right. And
then the Supreme Court stopped it. So that was I said the Republicans had one position. They just wanted it stopped. I looked that up after.
Are you going to correct everything you said wrong last time? Because
gosh, we don't have enough time.
We've got.
I mean, I invited you two idiots to be on my show. And I mean, if I'm correcting issues, I was a partner with Richie 15 years ago, so I could go back and correct that. That would help. Going back to law school 20 years ago would be a mistake. Yep. Okay, fine. You have a do-over. You have 2 do-overs in life. What do you do?
Oh, man, 2 do-overs in life. See, you put me on the spot again. You just said I like to do research.
Okay, 2 do-overs. I'll never become an attorney.
I'd invest every dollar I could ever put in Apple at $10 a share.
That's not a mistake, idiot.
That is a mistake. I didn't do it.
You money-grubbing whore.
That's what I would do.
That's not a mistake. A mistake is like I shouldn't have let Susie go, or I should have been kinder to animals. You hate animals, by the way.
No, I do not. I do not. Have
you seen the Facebook ad with him and a dog?
I love dogs.
This is how he's petting the dog.
You know why? Because the dog wouldn't come close enough.
The dog hates you. It senses you hate dogs.
Dogs can sense.
Animals love me. Animals love me.
Shoot.
All animals love me. And I love all animals.
I'm not. See, this is where I have to weigh personal comments versus business opportunities. So I'm editing myself for good business opportunities, but I'm going to stop there.
My biggest mistake is not to invest every dollar I have
That's
in
not
Apple.
a mistake.
It is a mistake.
That's like saying I should have picked who won the Super Bowl last year. I don't even know who won the Super Bowl.
It was
I don't even care
Kansas
because
City.
the Saints weren't there, so who cares?
Shut the hell up. Who won?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. That's like saying I should have bet on Kansas City. That's not a mistake.
You know, I was in
Vegas.
the future. I told you this story. I was in Vegas and I was waiting in line beginning of last year, and I was going to put $100 on the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl. And they were a long shot, and I didn't. The line was so long I didn't do it. I don't know how much money I would have won. Have no idea.
That's called a humble brag. Do you understand what that is?
Yeah. I wish I would.
I would have.
So that's a mistake.
That's not a mistake. That's you just being lazy and impatient. We were going to watch the Ole Miss game in Vegas where Richie, he looks at me when we pull into Vegas. We go by UNLV, the Running Rebels, and he goes, they're named after the Ole Miss Rebels. Everything's not about Jackson, Mississippi there, Northeast. Okay? There are some people out there. 2 mistakes. I should have trusted myself more growing up, and I should have not worried about what other people thought.
Okay, I've got a do-over.
Okay.
No, speaking of that, yeah. So one of the things that I quit playing basketball my senior year,
Okay.
and
Why?
but because I wasn't getting any playing time.
Okay.
You know, we've talked about my basketball skills.
Okay, what was your go-to move?
I mean, I shot the three. I was
Shot the three.
Yeah,
Typical, stereotypical
I was
white
the
boy.
catch and shoot. I could not shoot off the dribble.
Any handles? Any wiggle?
a little bit.
Okay.
But it was
fundamentally sound.
Fundamentally, I was the gym rat.
Okay.
High basketball
How about
IQ,
defense?
You know,
How about defense?
and I would get dusted on defense all the time.
Okay.
Hey, let's put y'all in a basketball match.
My knees are gone. No.
So I win.
Wow, easy now. It depends on whether it's full court or half. I'm not running. When's the last time you ran a full court game?
Man, it's probably been about a year.
Oh, you would kill me then. Yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Okay. But
so-
senior year.
Yeah, but it was just reasons. You know, I had a girlfriend. I had a part-time job. I was in the show choir too. I had other activities.
You made the right choice.
And so
instead of riding the bench.
But I kind of regret not just finishing out because I had played since junior high. I mean, I was a starter all the way up until high school, and then by then, you know, you've got the other kids. They were just bigger and stronger and faster.
Yeah,
Even the
no,
ninth graders
yeah.
were a lot. You know, we had ninth graders who were bigger, stronger.
You were not-
faster, better athletes than me when I was a senior. You know, ninth
Oh,
grade.
were y'all Division 5A?
Yeah, it was 5A.
You
back
were
then.
not a 5A starter.
I was
at the time.
not.
And I mean, that's
I would have been
nothing
a good private school
Yeah.
player, but playing at that level, I just I mean.
Well, no, I mean, I laugh all the
But
time.
I do regret not just finishing my senior season, just finish it out.
See, I hear that sometimes, and then if acknowledging what, because we used to see it all the time in academy sports, where people are like, "Hey, dude, you're not going pro." You know that?
Right.
I mean, you know,
Calm down,
Yeah,
right?
calm down. No one's because
Right.
there were some people who like didn't get scholarships to Notre Dame for my school, and you're like, dude, there was no chance.
Right.
And then like, I had an early education because I'd go play basketball at the Y or Wars, and you're like, well, that's an SEC athlete, Wes Leasy.
Right.
Or, you know, a guy named Roderick Straw. Those are SEC athletes. But, yeah, you're sitting there and going from there. What's the napkin for? Is that for me? Oh, am I sweating already? I already got to damp down. I'm so excited. Let me damp a little bit.
Your head is glistening.
Glistening.
In
But
the-
anyway, moving back, you see all these. We have so much staff here filming. You know,
Yeah.
you just get distracted. But anyway, so 2 mistakes.
Apple. And Google.
Both were stock purchases he didn't make. That sounds like those are like those are the kind of problems.
Listen,
that someone
if I
like
bought
me-
Apple
I-
and Google at $10, I wouldn't be here today.
I mean,
I got another do-over.
it must be perfect. It must be hard being a perfect man. It just must be hard. Go ahead. What's your other do-over?
So you know, I can recall. I'm going to lump all of these into one, but
Let me stop you, okay? I was going to say it might have been the young Asian kid we ran into. That's all I'm going to say in Thailand. That's all I'm going to say and move on to here.
that's
Do
one of
what?
Richie's
Nothing,
do-overs.
nothing. I'm not commenting any further.
Young
I'm not
Asian
commenting any further.
In Thailand.
In Thailand.
I've never been in Thailand. What are you talking about? Me?
Okay.
He's trying to start a rumor on something.
I know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm just, maybe it was another Richie.
In
It
Thailand?
might be another person.
I've never been in Thailand in my
Anyway,
entire life.
Okay. I misremembered. I apologize. Go ahead.
So in retrospect, in college, there were a couple of opportunities that where young ladies were interested and were trying to make that known to me in subtle ways.
Okay.
And I've always been completely oblivious to that. And so like one of them, like by the time we graduated, one
You
of
know
them,
your wife's watching this. Right?
yes,
Okay.
but one of them had said something to me
He's
about
admitting
that
he didn't
eventually.
have.
I understand.
yeah.
I'm following the
Okay,
story here,
okay.
Thailand.
You're talking about do-overs. Like maybe if I knew then what I know now,
But see, I used
might
to
have
get
picked
that
up
all
on
the
those
time.
signals and done something.
I
about
used
it.
to get that all
I
the
don't know.
time where people were like, you know, when I was they were always dating someone, and they're like, you know, for that month I was single, you never asked me out. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Right.
About the 4 years I knew you and you had a boyfriend. Or at Ole Miss, it was infamous for they would hook up with someone and then they'd break up. They would never be single. And I was always brought up, if they'll cheat with you, they'll cheat on you.
They'll cheat on you, yeah.
And I'm too paranoid and I have huge intimacy issues. But anyway, you're just staring at me like, money, Google.
Money, money, money.
Anyway.
That's my biggest mistake. Apple and Google. I could have bought them at $10.
You technically could buy any stock if you know the power of the future.
You asked me what I'd go back today, and the first thing
buy
I
that
would do is buy as much Apple and much Google as I
I've
could.
seen you with pictures of a mustache.
Yeah, I used to have a mustache.
That doesn't qualify as a mistake. I've seen the pictures.
I had a mustache most of my young adult life.
Once again, I would qualify that as a do-over.
I don't
that might
know.
be
A lot of
do-over
people liked
material.
it.
Would you do it? Would you have a mustache today if you were not advertising as much as you?
Maybe. I don't know. It would I wouldn't have had a beard for a short while too. But that's not a mistake. That's just something you want to try out.
What about handlebars on the mustache, like the little?
No, I didn't have
the
any
little
handlebars.
twirly-
I actually
or the
trimmed it very,
twirly up?
very neatly. Very neat mustache.
It looks very strange. We need to get some of those photos and post them to the site.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
see.
I'd like to see that.
Yes, I mean, you don't even recognize. Well, I mean, it looks like he's wearing a fake mustache. It does. I mean, it looks like who got the $2 mustache for one call.
I even have the Google eyes.
Okay, here. I'm going to toss this up. So, Mr. Excitement,
Go.
because we were going to do a show about COVID.
Right.
But go ahead, big man. No, I mean, we're talking about shutdowns. So go ahead, run with it. Talk to us about insurance defense.
Insurance defense? I don't do insurance defense, but I
Talk
can
to
tell
us
you.
about car. What do you want to talk about, Richie?
I want to talk about something exciting. Let's talk about something really spectacular.
Hey, I got something exciting happened last night. The Clinton Arrows put a whooping on Horn Lake, 35-7. The best kicker in the state of Mississippi made all 5 of his.
And who would that be?
That'd be my son, Elliot Price Nixon.
What number?
He's number 46. He made all 5 of his PATs.
Where did
solid on
46 come
kickoffs.
from?
It was probably just
Random.
the jersey that they had there that fit him.
Now, let me ask you this. As a son, we all see kickers, and we all see Tennessee Titans had a horrible Thursday night game with kickers. And local.
What about Ole Miss? Wow. You do my bad kickers.
Everything isn't about Ole Miss.
I was talking about bad kickers.
Everything is not about Ole Miss.
No, it's not. But I'm just telling you, their
Everything's
kicker
not
missed.
about Ole Miss.
He only made 1 field goal, and he missed a lot of extra points and misses all his field goals.
We'll come back to your exciting topics in a moment. But as a parent of a kicker, he lines up. Do you hear? Okay, has he missed a big kick, or has he missed easy kicks?
He has not missed any really. I think the only ones he's missed have been blocked.
Okay. Have you heard any criticism who people do not know you're related to the kicker?
No, and mainly because of that, because he hasn't like shanked one that he should have made, or
no game losers.
Yeah, no game losers.
Has he kicked the winning kick yet?
He has not kicked the winning kick yet.
Okay, that's exciting.
Although it wasn't the game-winning field goal, but we beat South Panola by 3.
Okay.
And so his field goal that he made in that game was the difference in the score. So
What is his range?
he's good from 45 in most nights.
Dang, that's impressive.
So anything, and I think the coaches know that too. If it's 45 or in, then they'll kick. But once you get past 45, that's when it's iffy. He can make from 50 in warm up, but doing that on the field during the game is different. So he's 45 and in. He's good.
A lot of camps.
No, very few.
Just mostly soccer.
Yeah, he was a soccer player, and he was sort of a backup kicker, punter. From the 9th grade, he took off his junior year, but then came back. And but yeah, he's done a little bit like with some local college and JUCO and
camps.
Camps. just kicking clinics and stuff like that. But hasn't gone off to the big camps and stuff like that. He just kicks and he's pretty good at it.
What a great transition from football to COVID, which you want to talk about the fact that teams can't play.
Yeah, that's right. And so interestingly,
Whoa! No, wait, stop.
It is.
Stop.
It is.
But
It
no,
does
no, wait,
transition.
no. He's not getting off because he doesn't want to talk about COVID. He's got this super exciting topic he wants to talk
I
about.
want to talk about
Go
the
ahead.
fact
If you
that
say
football
COVID,
players
if you
can't
said,
play.
It was literally topic number 5 on the list I texted you.
Oh, I
but we're
fell
not
asleep
talking
at
about you. I
2.
want you to give us the exciting topic.
The exciting topic.
The ones you want to talk about, you want it
Well,
exciting. I'm opening up the show to the Richard Schwartz show.
I didn't give it much thought, but I
so
guess
you
we
hate
could
our,
talk.
You hate our audience.
No, I don't hate
all 27
audience.
of them.
I don't hate anybody.
You don't hate anybody.
I don't hate anybody. There's some people I don't want to be around, but I don't hate anybody.
Do you hate anybody?
I don't think so. I mean, hate. Is,
I hate a lot of people. Hate a lot of people.
I
have a
everybody-
list. I have a list. He's 142. And let me go ahead and say this on this list. Every now and then I just, you have practice runs on how many guns I can drive around and how many people I can scratch off the list, and I can't get past 15.
I do have a
Foreign
question.
calls.
We need to answer this, and because my girlfriend
Wow.
lives in Georgia.
Okay.
Wow.
But she drives from Georgia through Alabama to Mississippi, and she wants to carry a gun. Can she carry a gun?
Is this a legal talk show? Did we just turn this?
No,
into a
that's an
legal
interesting
talk
topic.
show? It really is not.
More exciting than COVID.
That's what you want is exciting. Whether my girlfriend can bring a gun to shoot me. Yes, she can. You can shoot him all you want, and I'll defend you. I understand the verbal abuse he had, the blackmailing he's put. I want to say her name, but I won't. He's
told
dating a lovely lady.
Oh,
and
yes.
she's way beyond his scope.
No question.
But
no question.
anyway, no.
you
go
told
ahead.
him he could pick the topic, and then now you're dissing.
Yeah,
his
you
topic.
notice all that.
Okay, do you think this is an exciting topic, whether she can carry a gun or not? Carry a bat. You can just beat him at night. Or
The question is, you got 3 different laws.
I mean, it
Burning
depends.
bed,
Richie's
burning
girlfriend,
bed.
Richie's
Set the bed
girlfriend,
on fire.
Richie's girlfriend carrying a gun across state lines. I mean, that could get interesting.
No, it really couldn't. I mean, he won't sign the life insurance policy that I'm trying to get, so it's not going to help me. But anyway,
Well, the COVID and football thing.
are we going back to
we gonna
COVID?
go-
That's
Are we
fine.
going- Okay,
Gun?
no.
Football.
The
Football.
answer in Mississippi, I don't know Georgia law. In Mississippi, she can carry it
Yeah, in
under
her
her
vehicle.
seat. She doesn't have to have a permit, and she can carry it hot, as we call it, or one in the chamber. And she can carry it in the glove compartment under
That's
the
right.
seat. She can carry it anywhere.
But my point is, you got to follow 3 different state laws on how
Not
to
Mississippi, no.
carry. No, but she's in Georgia.
Once again, we've
and then through
established that.
Alabama.
That's why I said I'm not aware of Georgia.
Yeah, we just don't know Georgia or
and
Alabama
I'm not
law.
aware of
Well,
Alabama.
what's interesting about that is that
Not a damn thing.
people carry
Not a damn thing.
carry
is interesting
weapons
about this
all the
conversation.
time across state line, and they
Without
don't realize
realizing the potential,
that you have to comply with the state
None of
you're
this
in.
is exciting. None of this is interesting.
Okay.
I'm just saying. But I mean, here. If
I
she
thought it
needs-
was.
If she needs a gun, I have plenty of them, and she can come to my office, and I'll give her one. And then, as long as I'm saying that I'm telling her not to kill him. So yes, but no. In all honesty, I tell people also, okay, what can of wasp spray? You've heard me say this 1,000 times.
Can of what?
Wasp spray.
Yeah. What
It's
about
legalized mace. It's 25 feet of legalized mace.
Yeah.
You can carry it in any state.
Yeah.
If you get sprayed in the face with wasp spray, you're going to the hospital. And I learned that from liquor store owners I used to have to represent when they got robbed when I was a prosecutor. That's
So,
why if you ever go
a guy
to
comes in with a gun, you
you
get
spray
your
it with
wasp
wasp-
spray,
That was
and
my-
you,
that was
hey,
my
be
question.
still for a minute.
No, I'm not saying not have a pistol, but if you ever go next time you go to a pawn shop or a liquor store, someone like that, and there's a can of wasp spray up there, it is not for the insects. It's
like
legalized
mace.
mace. Yes, if you get it in your eyes, you have to go to the hospital. You're going to roll on the ground. You're not going to sit there.
Even a large man who could throw off a taser.
Would you like me to try it with you? We can do a
No.
live video here.
Yeah, you got a
yes.
taser. Let's try it on. He's a large man. Let's try it.
I've lost 25 pounds. Okay.
Well, you're bigger than
Oh,
us,
Dave,
and I don't
he
mean
just
fat.
called you
I'm just
large.
used
Called
to a
me
bigger
fat.
dude.
He implied I was fat, which I am.
No,
fat.
I didn't. I said
It's
you're
okay.
just bigger.
It's okay. It's fine. But
I mean, you're
moving
6'5",
back on-
300 pounds, and I'm a little bit.
What am I?
I don't know. I'm
6'5", 300 pounds.
He said 300.
250.
I'm 256 this morning.
And
Okay.
and taller than 6'5". I'll tell you
6'6",
that.
yeah. That's a big dude.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That's a big dude.
let's get to the topics, the serious topics.
Okay, let's
Okay.
get
If
to
y'all, okay, hey,
Well, we were transitioning to COVID, right, about the football because it is related, right?
is it? Okay. Do you
It
think,
is, and if you'll let me finish, I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
So,
I know why it's related.
all right, so
They're closing
Clinton.
schools.
So Clinton plays Warren Central again. We beat them once, but we play them again next Friday because Warren Central beat Tupelo, but they beat them by default because Tupelo has had a COVID outbreak, and so they shut down, and their football team had to forfeit. So now you have a football team who was in the playoffs had to forfeit their game, and so that's our second round game.
So they don't
Warren Central
continue
now.
or reschedule that game? It's a forfeit?
It's a forfeit, yeah.
How
because
can you? That's ridiculous. How can you forfeit a game if your team
well, and
is
it's
sick?
because
You
that
can't do
schedule is set, and with all the other high school activities and everything, I don't think they can extend further than they have.
But
So
how
in
can
high
you do a
school-
forfeit? I mean that's wrong.
I mean, I feel bad for Tupelo. I wish
maybe
I wish
no
they could have played that game.
no record. I
What-
can see
okay.
that.
Do you feel that your children or you have one child playing, correct?
Yes, one child
Okay.
playing football. Yeah,
Now, Brandon High just closed.
yeah.
Do you feel that Clinton? Do you know of any knowledge of an outbreak at Clinton High?
No. As a matter of fact, the superintendent just sent out a letter on Friday because I think it was in response to some other schools closing. And Clinton so far has only had, I think, maybe 40 total positive cases. And the school district so far is crediting that to they're hyper vigilant. It's like and my son was telling me about it yesterday evening. He was saying, if you show up to school and you go to the teacher and you complain about anything, they said go home right now. They send you home. Like if you complain about a headache, you say, I'm not feeling well, you sneeze, they're like, get out of here, go home right now. And so they've really.
I'd be sick every day.
Well, you got to do virtual.
When
at
did
home.
you get well?
I'm still working on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they credit that to just being really vigilant with not even playing. Don't wait. Don't try to tough it out. If you feel bad at all, stay home and do virtual today. And so far the numbers are, I think they said like I was saying, 40 cases is all that they
Are they
had.
having a lot of kids slip through the cracks because they're not attending like homework assignments?
Oh, I
missed?
guarantee. I don't know the stats on that, but I guarantee you that's happening nationwide.
Yeah.
I mean, you have whatever you would call them, maybe underprivileged kids who a lot of times they need to go to school to eat. So there's all kind of. Do they have internet service? Who's there at home supervising them to make sure they do their work? I think tons of kids are falling through the cracks in terms of the virtual stuff, and it's just because of circumstances in a lot of these homes.
Yeah, now it's starting to spread a little bit more.
Okay, go ahead.
And I assume there's going to be more closings coming. The real question is, will there be another semester of school in schools?
It almost sounds like we're having a COVID show.
We're talking about football, too.
And it's getting interesting.
We're talking about football. Yes,
because it has an impact on football.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway.
and now college teams are canceling. There's, 3 or 4 games that have been
LSU,
canceled.
Alabama canceled.
Mississippi State.
Auburn. Was it Mississippi State?
Yeah, Mississippi State, Auburn. There was a couple.
Now, are those going to reschedule, or are they just cancel?
They're trying to reschedule.
They're trying to reschedule them now. The question is, can they? And it's sometime in December.
Okay, let's start this at the top. The White House, the current administration, Donald J. Trump. Should he? Because, supposedly the number I heard is that by hitting 180,000 cases a day for the nation, and we've hit 200,000 a couple times, that we should be on national lockdown mode to shut it down. That we're actually past that point. Would you, Richie, lock down the nation if you were president?
I think what I would do I would be the last thing I would do. I would do it if it was necessary, but I think there's other things you can do. For instance, you can order masks on everybody, and it's a penalty if you don't do it.
What would the penalty be?
A fine.
What fine? How much? $25?
$100.
$100. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Something that would make you want to wear your mask.
Okay.
The other thing is that every business would be ordered that you cannot serve someone in your establishment without a mask. Okay. And the other thing I would do is limit size of groups. And like, for instance, you can't have a group of more than 20 people in anything. and make sure that's mandated. And I think that would be my first step, is to into lots of testing, following up in testing, finding people who are positive and isolate them as soon as possible. Those are things I would do before I'd shut the country down.
Okay. President, what do you do?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I think there's legal issues with a national lockdown, national mask mandate. I think there may be some constitutional or some legal challenges.
Okay, what would they be specifically?
Well, it's just with the principles of federalism, I think it could run afoul of that unless you can invoke some sort of federal statute that authorizes you to do such a global and blanket approach. I think they can make recommendations, and maybe they can incentivize it or disincentivize non-compliance.
And what you're talking about is, for those who are not lawyers, the federal government is supposed to be a restricted set of powers.
That's right.
The federal government
it's
has.
Enumerated powers only, right?
And the 10th Amendment gives everything to the state.
That's right.
But the back loop, and this is how the federal government gets into abortion. And abortion's a privacy right, but most gun regulations is interstate commerce clause.
Right. They've used that interstate commerce clause to. It's been vastly expanded, I think, beyond the original intention. But whatever it is, what it is.
And that's one of the ways that the federal government has a right to regulate marijuana, because they said in California,
controlled substances law is interstate commerce.
Even an illegal market affects interstate commerce, which I thought was a horrendous ruling. But go ahead.
Yeah. And so, no, I don't. I think that they can provide guidance. They can try to incentivize or disincentivize certain things. But I still say that that each individual state, and even within those states, each individual county, they're not all similarly situated. New York City is set up in a certain way. They have certain risks. They have certain needs. There's realities in New York City that don't apply in Clinton, Mississippi, for example. And so I think having that one size fits all approach, I just generally disfavor that, because it at the same time does too much and also not enough, And so if you need more severe restrictions, in some locations, the local authorities can do that. If you don't need as many restrictions, South Dakota, as far as I know, they still have never done any kind of formal lockdown, and I think percentage-wise, they're not any worse off than anybody else. And so I think we don't do that at the national level. The federal government can provide resources and provide guidance, and then try to incentivize or disincentivize, good and bad policies with that regard. But I don't think they can mandate it, at the federal level. And I don't know that they should, to be honest. Because the other thing about the virus is, and I've just been thinking about this a lot, at the very beginning, what was the phrase that we said, what were we locking down for?
Flattening the curve.
It was 14 days to slow the spread. The reality of the spread, it is reality. The virus has to spread, right? That's the only thing. A virus is not a living organism. The only thing that stops a virus is the immune system. And so the virus has to spread eventually. We just need it to spread at a rate that we can manage. And so, it was
to preserve health resources.
Yeah, we got to preserve. But
the hospitals were full.
But
the
idea that people are getting the virus on balance is not bad. That's what has to happen for us to finally attain herd immunity, and for this to become something more like the common cold that we live with.
But you've seen Governor Tate Reeves' analysis, and I thought it was an excellent analysis that said to get herd immunity, you're shutting down hospitals for 5 years.
Obviously we can't do that.
Yes. So, the theory, though, is also if you isolate it, if everyone isolated for 14 days, truly isolated, the virus was supposed to die out. That's the theory I heard. Now, that's never going to happen.
No, I don't think that's possible.
Because 60% of us who have it don't know we have it.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
But then...
And it's impossible to do in America. They could do that in China, where they just lock everybody down.
Well, someone's going to go to Walgreens. Someone's going to have to go eat. Someone's got family members living with them.
Right.
Someone, you don't know.
Or if you're sick with something else and you need emergency medical care, you may have to leave.
You don't know that. Right. So, there's other issues there. But I would say, and I said this 1,000 times, we need to just be looking at the numbers. Now, the problem with America is, like you said, Montana, and I do believe South Dakota and them are having an outbreak right now. They're not, right now I would say it's temperature-wise. Northeast is having an outbreak because they're right now into a colder temperature.
And this is not unexpected, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we expected, maybe a second wave
Yeah.
in winter, right? That was talked about.
But
Yeah.
we're still in the 70s. Now we're hitting. Now look, when we first locked down, 500 cases was a big day. 700, 800 big. We had 1,300 the other day.
Yeah, but you also got to look at the age and the average age of these cases.
Okay.
If they are younger people who are not having bad outcomes, then the positive case, that's a net good for a younger person to get it without a very negative outcome. To me, that's good.
Yeah. I was reading that 40% of this new surge are nursing home patients.
Okay. Well, and if
And
that's the
that's a
case,
real
that's
problem.
bad. Yeah, because those individuals are at risk.
Yeah, but I mean,
for
but
negative
to me,
outcomes.
the ICU number is important.
Yes.
And we're supposedly full of, in the Jackson metro area of ICU, so we should be on lockdown. Did y'all find it I found it hypocritical and strange that Tate Reeves was commenting that the DeSoto the DeSoto County Sheriff said he would not enforce any mass mandates, any shutdowns. And Tate Reeves said all public officials should enforce the mandates of the governor to help benefit society. But then he turned around and said if there was a national mandate, he would not abide by it. Did y'all find that hypocritical?
I don't know that he said we wouldn't abide by it. I thought he said that they would fight it, like they would legally challenge it.
Well, I mean, what would be the difference between what the DeSoto County Sheriff is doing to him than what he's doing to the president?
Well, it's because, if Tate Reeves said to the president, no, we're not going to do that, forget you, that's one thing. If he says, you can't do that, we're going to challenge this in court, that's different. If DeSoto County Sheriff filed a lawsuit to declare the governor's order unconstitutional, that, whether you like it or not, that's perfectly legal. But for him to just say, forget you, I'm not going to enforce this.
But in the meantime, he would have to abide by it until a court rules differently.
But the other thing too is law enforcement, they have some discretion in terms of in the manner and or the I guess the how aggressive they are with enforcement. I mean, law enforcement does have some of that discretion. The guy who in a traffic stop, the policeman has the authority to give you a warning and let you go if they want.
And there's another problem. You can't do a shutdown right now because there's no stimulus package.
Well, that's the other thing.
And that's a real problem. The Republicans and the Democrats cannot agree on the size of the stimulus package.
The stimulus package wasn't agreed on because of the election.
It was totally political. I agree, but they'll pass something. But you're right. You can't lock down unless you give people some. Because if you say you can't,
they're
go to
still
work,
talking. Are in an impasse. I don't think the president has anything to do with that at this point. Now, what may make a difference is the elections in Georgia and how they turn out. And if they advertise in Georgia that, look, we want a stimulus package, you're not going to get one unless the Democrats get in, it may make a difference in the outcome.
Yeah, it could.
Okay, supposedly 80% of us get COVID in 3 places: restaurants, gyms, and churches. I saw a report from that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think those 3 places should be shut down?
Well, you can't shut them down unless you have a way to keep them a possibility of them opening back up, and that's a stimulus package. You can't shut a business down because once you do, they're shut forever.
And the question is that a taking? Like if you're in a government mandated
that's a good
shutdown,
point.
is that a taking?
But we shut them down and still.
And you can't shut down churches.
Okay,
the federal government doesn't have the power to do that.
Yeah, I don't think they do either.
I disagree on that. I don't think
they can't shut them down. I mean, they can. I think they can impose limits on how they conduct their. Like you can, but you can't tell. You can't say thou shalt not have church.
No, I think the problem is you get into the public gathering. Y'all can have it via Zoom or internet. But you cannot get into the problem they were getting into is they treating a business like a restaurant differently than a church. But in my scenario, the top 3 or top 5 that expose us, activities, I don't care what they are, they cannot have in-person meetings. But we shut down restaurants before. We shut down bars before.
And we paid them to do that.
No, the stimulus came later. It wasn't, we're going to shut you down and give you stimulus. It wasn't an even or. It was we're going to give you a stimulus package. But you can technically shut down whatever you want for as long as you find that it's in the public good. And the governor was doing that, not the president.
Well, then that is a taking.
taking.
That is a taking.
No, it wasn't, because we've already been through this. Under the Stafford Act, the states usually have the control to do it. But and there's no, is anybody questioning they're not acting at
No,
in an
they
emergency?
can't take your property or make you lose money, because that is a taking without compensating you in some form or fashion. Now, can they mandate how you do service food and how you can feed people? Yes, they can mandate that for the public good, but I don't think they can actually shut you down.
You're like limiting, like saying, okay, no in-person dining or limited in-person dining.
They could probably do that.
Maybe do that, but as far as locking down and saying everybody stay home, even if it means you don't go to work and you don't earn money, that's just
Okay, let me ask y'all this. In y'all's mind, what did we do in March?
We gave everything was shutting down.
Okay,
no one was going to work.
Let me stop you.
Everybody was getting laid off. So they issued a stimulus package for you to keep employees employed.
But what you're not recognizing is the stimulus package was for the federal government.
That's right.
The federal government hasn't shut anybody out. The federal government under Trump has not shut anybody out. So the governor of Mississippi issued that order. Am I?
That's right.
So
what order are you talking about?
to shut things down.
The safe at home order,
The safe
whatever
at home,
you call it.
yeah. To shut down came from Governor Reeves, had no package attached.
Right.
And then the federal government provides stimulus. So we have to do this. Now, Biden is talking about, we're going to shut you down with a 6-week package. Now, yes. And is there some legal issues? Every challenge I've seen, and it was a Madison County barber, and there was one more. They were actually made moot by the time they got to court.
Okay.
Because, they were like,
They were
they're
back
reopening and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, would you not, if the numbers were hitting 300 to 500, and they're now hitting for 1,300, and the justification was we were running out of medical resources. Have I got any of this wrong?
Mm-mm.
And now we're at 1,300, and we're averaging close to 1,000 a day. Were we wrong to shut it down in March and try to flatten the curve? Or are we wrong now?
He didn't shut it down. He put limitations on. He didn't shut anything down.
You could not go to a barber in March. You
That's-
could not
that's
go
true.
to a spa in
That's
March.
true. That's true.
You could not go to school.
There was that definition of essential
Essential,
and
yeah.
non-essential.
Yeah, that's
now,
true.
lawyers were
Industries.
essential,
Yeah.
so we could still work.
Ha-ha.
Okay. Well, no, like gyms. And one of the things that the Republicans have taken heat for.
Pawn shops were essential.
Gyms. Well, no, but I mean,
That's
at
what
that point, might need lower income people might need a way to pawn items.
That's right. That's right.
But what I'm saying is, gyms are, in my opinion, are not essential. Now, I'm still going to mine, but I've started considering this again. But what I'm saying is, do you think he was wrong to shut it down in March? Because I personally don't.
No, I think he did right.
Okay. Do you think?
No, it was not wrong. The March order. I don't think that was wrong.
If the numbers are worse in March.
But every state did that. Was shutting down.
That's not what I'm asking.
Here's different. Here's a couple of differences. The first one is we understand it better. We have better therapeutics now, right? I mean, we have, I think depending on the strain of the virus, it's responded differently to different therapeutics. We have therapeutics. The hospitals are better at dealing with this.
But the ICU's full.
Well, and that's true. But but if you look at the total numbers, and I was trying to find this earlier. I mean, if the enough positive cases are younger, healthier people who are not having negative outcomes, then again, then that is what. Even though it takes time, we need to see more of that. Younger, healthier people who don't have negative outcomes getting the virus, at least until the vaccine is out.
But the reality is, thousands of people are dying with that theory, and as opposed to trying to protect someone, you're saying go ahead and let them get it. You know what the heck?
Okay, but you're.
I don't
okay,
know
wait,
that.
Do you? Okay, what would you do in 20? Okay, should we do what we did in March? Yes or no?
Yes.
Or should we do what we did in March? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, why
I think
not?
it should be more targeted to vulnerable and at-risk populations. Those should be the focus.
Similar to Sweden.
So more like Sweden,
Okay,
yes.
so 65,
my 18-year-old, he might get it, but the chances of him even having anything worse than a regular cold from COVID.
The problem with that,
are
he can spread
tiny.
it to you.
Yeah, he's
he
a
can spread it
spreader.
to other people. That's not to me, that's really dangerous to have a young person have
but
it.
that's the point.
Because they're more active. They go everywhere.
Well, but if he has it, then I isolate, and we don't spread it to my parents.
But you won't know he has it until he has symptoms, and you've already been exposed to
60% of everybody won't know they have it.
You've already been exposed.
Well, maybe so, but I think that's another thing that they, what we need to look at is because at one point it was like when you're asymptomatic, you're spreading, and then at another time they were saying when you're asymptomatic, you're not as likely to spread it, and so we need to find that out. But I think if you focus in on vulnerable populations and you say those are the ones who need to isolate, and then we provide services for them, but those who are not as at risk, those can go more about their business. I think that's a better approach.
So what you're saying is, instead of 1,000 people dying, it'll be 500 people dying a day.
No,
see, that's my point.
Well, if we do it that way,
because there are going to be deaths that aren't in nursing homes that are unrelated. Because 40% are nursing homes. That means 60% are something else. So
people who usually have underlying conditions.
Yeah, so it's okay as long as we protect that 40%. The rest of the 60 who die, don't care about it.
No, but I think the difference is not half. I think the difference in the death rates, it drops orders of magnitude. I mean, the reason why the death rate is 0.2 or whatever it is, which is higher than the flu, is because of older populations. Death rates among young people are less than the flu. It's like so instead of going from 1,000 to 500, it goes from 1,000 to 10. If you isolate,
not from what I read, because I'm reading that 40% are nursing home of the deaths. Okay, now check me if I'm wrong on that.
I don't know about 40%. I know that 40% of people who just got sick under 1,300 are in nursing homes.
Okay, maybe it's 40% of nursing home residents.
Yes. Yeah. That's what they're reporting.
Maybe that's not deaths. Maybe that's the nursing people who got it.
The Mississippi Department of Health is reporting as of Thursday, November 12th. We've 1,200 cases that day, 17 deaths yesterday. So Wednesday we had that many. The total number of cases, 130,000. Virus is called 3,514 deaths. Nursing home deaths comprise of 40%. So 40% of people who died at 3,500 is nursing homes.
And that means
what
60%.
What percentage of the positive cases are nursing home cases?
I've been misstating that. So I don't know. But
because yes, it is a greater percentage of the death. But it's also...
It's only 40%. It's 40% deaths.
Out of 3,500. So out of 3,500 people, you're talking about 350 people times 4. You're talking about 1,400 people in nursing homes.
Right, but in addition, the balance of that 60%, the overwhelming majority of the 60%, is whether they're in nursing homes or not, is people over a certain age, like over the age of 70, and people with comorbidities. And so if you
don't want to protect them.
Absolutely, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, how do you?
Is that you protect them, though those populations stay isolated.
So how do you do that? Someone's got to bring them food. Someone's going to have to take care of them, drive them. We'll get their.
Well, no, you can't drive them. I mean, if you're going to protect them, they're.
I don't know how you put them in a prison.
No, you keep them at their home.
But then the alternative,
quarantine, like house quarantine.
Yeah. And understand what you're saying. I mean, I don't. My parents are at risk. I do not want me or my kids to share it with them. How old are your parents? If you don't mind? My dad's 75. He's a stroke survivor, so he's a little diminished, and my mom is 73, and so they're I mean, they're in decent health otherwise. I don't want anything to happen to them, but
sure.
but for us to not be right where we are again, this time next year, we have to do something different in our approach. I think that we can figure that out, protect those vulnerable populations, and then let the others who are not at that same level of risk go more about their normal lives.
How would you know, if considering your health situation, whether or not it's going to kill you? I mean, for instance, you had some prior problems, but you don't know if the virus is going to kill you because your private problem. No one knows that.
Yeah, right. Nobody knows. Yeah, that's true.
So why not protect them too?
Yeah, but the difference is that, like Brent said, when you look at the numbers, if you're under the age of 30 or something, it is less percentage-wise. It's less deadly than the flu. If you're under a certain age.
Okay, so everyone over 30 years old needs to be isolated.
or whatever the age is. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But we don't isolate because of the threat of the seasonal flu.
Right.
Okay, but besides talking theories and hypotheticals, are you doing anything different? I just asked my employees. I have a new batch of employees. Do they have any underlying conditions, and do they have any worries of coming into the office? I'm not doing anything different right now. Now, when we were in March, they had the options of working from home.
Right.
Some employees I call not working from home and billing. And, because you don't have that supervision, are you going to do anything with the rise of COVID cases? Because you have 150 employees. Mm-hmm. How many employees do you have, sir?
I've got 3.
I've got 3. Mm-hmm. Are you going to do anything different with your employees?
No, forward? I mean, we from the beginning, we don't wear masks around each other. But just for example, I had a little bit of a scare this week where one of my employees said, she had a friend of hers that she was around maybe the weekend before who tested positive. And so we had this scare, and she immediately went and got tested, and she was negative, So, but what we've done from the beginning is we, and in my office too, we're not huggers or anything like that. I mean, we keep distance.
Well, you're just cold-hearted.
We wear masks.
You're a little homophobic. A little bit. It's the theater coming out in you. I mean, you're a theater
major. Well, my 3 employees
major.
are females. So.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But
I wouldn't hug the male employees either.
Okay.
But anyway, so but we wear masks when people come in, and we have we have the CDC picture signs on our doors, and then I sanitize my table and I have new pens that I give people when they sign for closings. And we try to just observe what the CDC stuff says about frequent hand washing, masks. Yeah. Social distance. That's what and I don't know that you have to do anything substantially different.
Are you doing anything?
Yeah, we're doing a lot. Our HR department, first thing he does is take everybody's temperature when they come to work. The other thing to do is someone is sick, they send them home. If they're tested positive, we've had 5 people, and this has happened, tested positive, but they're in certain areas. Then we close that entire area down, and they go get tested.
Okay.
And then if they have any symptoms at all, they have to stay home. We allow some people to work from home, and I think HR determines who that is, if they have high risk or they have children at home or wherever it may be. In fact, I'd say half the people, it seems like, are working from home when I walk around the office. So, yeah, we do a lot of things. It's scary. It's definitely scary. And but, we haven't had an outbreak, knock on wood, for many months.
Okay.
Or positive. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen, because probably it will. But what we try to do is isolate it. When it's that person would expose this many people, that many people go get tested.
All of those
right
have to. Yeah.
To be quite honest,
my brother just tested positive. He's
whoa, wait. We're 30 minutes into the show, and you're just telling me.
Oh no, I haven't been around him. I haven't been around for 2 weeks. It's been over 2 weeks since I've been around him. But yeah, he is the works at he's in college level education, and but he's fine. He's just at home.
This is one at the junior college.
Yeah, the junior college. Yeah, so he's just at home, and he had sort of a mild cold symptoms, and otherwise is doing okay. But he's completely isolated for 2 weeks. I guess he's just getting everything delivered.
Should the high schools finish their football season?
I think yes. I mean, the individual school districts need to decide. Now, obviously, if the teams that are in the playoffs now, if half of those schools shut down, well, I guess if it results in Clinton winning the state, that's fine. But obviously, if enough schools shut down where you can't have a meaningful playoff, then maybe you just pause the season here and try to finish later or something. But I think they should try. I mean, if they can, because like I said, the numbers in Clinton there's not an outbreak there. There's only been 40 cases total they're reporting, and so they're fine. There's no reason why they should shut down right now, I don't think.
And just so, since I've been grilling these two guys, I would have sat there and I would have gone by strictly numbers. And I would say, whatever hospitals are serving something, once you hit certain, and I've said this all along, once you hit certain numerical requirements, I would shut down for at least a week. And to get back
the whole city.
Whatever. Now, like I said, until we got back to bending the curve. I'm a huge science data guy. Now, like I said, like you said, I would look at, if you're telling me not shutting down spreads it this much and shutting down only prevents us this much, I would do that. Now, I also would trigger what type of. Now, when I say shut down, take out.
Yeah.
I would do takeout. I would do. What else did we do? Gyms. I'm probably.
They were closed.
See, I go in gyms, and earlier in the summer I was fine. Now I'm getting a lot. People have quit spraying equipment down. The gym's still spraying the equipment down, but
people are getting a little lax.
yes, and they're not wiping things down,
Yep.
and you're looking around. And I try to go in and do my spin by myself, and then get
Right.
out, and then. But yes, I would try to work a federal package in, but I'm a numbers guy. And, like I said, as soon as you hit this number, then these effects should take it. I wouldn't shut down football. I think what you said is right. I wouldn't shut down high schools. Now, Brandon just shut down. They went virtual. And we've got to be – this isn't political.
Well, here's a question, though. What if – could the school shut down, but them finish the football season? Like if they do virtual – and there's not an outbreak amongst the kids on the team, could they go ahead and finish the games?
Your son's a senior, right?
Yes.
Does he feel? How are you? Let me answer your question. All lawyers need to answer questions.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say as long as everyone's okay with that and there's testing involved, I would say yes, they can finish the games even if they're shutting down the school.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think football is a good distraction for everything that's going on right now.
Right.
Yeah.
How is your son handling this as his senior year?
Well, he's been fine. I mean, they've done the whole year this way, right? So, and last year's senior class was also really weird, messed up too. So it's not like he hasn't really glimpsed this senior experience that some of his friends had that he didn't get to have, So I think the seniors this year are fine. Everybody's accepted it's the reality. But if something like that were to happen, like we're on a run in the playoffs where we feel like we can maybe go all the way, and it's his senior season, it's his last chance to get looked at by college coaches as a kicker and all the rest, and they stop it right now. Oh, that'd be devastating.
Oh, no, I mean, it would completely be devastating, and I understand
we talk about public health risks. I mean,
Yeah.
The devastation, psychological devastation it would cause to some of these kids, and especially if the team is okay. You don't have outbreaks with the team and the coaches. Okay, well, go virtual with the school, but let them finish the season, the football players. Because a lot of these kids, this is their ticket to college.
Yeah.
Now,
well, wait, stop. When you say this is their ticket, you mean football scholarships?
Yeah, football scholarship,
Clinton?
playing football. Well, in Mississippi high school, generally
1%.
But that's
1%
another problem. You can't even visit a college.
Division I.
If you're an
Am I wrong?
athlete,
how many kids, if they're not going at least to play JUCO or something, are just not going to go to college after this?
But what I'm saying is,
I think that's a
how many
larger
kids
number.
get scholarships? My understanding is like 1% of the high school kids playing get scholarships.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you count JUCO and everything else, I don't know what the percentage is, but
it would probably be very low. But again,
what about that handful of kids that are really good or that are on the margins?
They're
They're a
gonna get
3-star.
scholarships.
Are you sure?
Because everybody's still the same. Everybody's dealing with COVID.
Yeah, okay.
Those guys know who run a 4.4.
Yeah.
Those guys aren't going to go away.
Well, I'm trying. Look, Brent, I'm trying to argue for the football season.
No,
man.
I said I would let them play because my problem is this: I don't know the perfect solution.
Yeah, I don't either.
And I think we have to, like you said, if no one's showing it,
yeah,
you kind of have to do the best you can. And I'm real big on, airline traffic. Airlines I'd probably shut down for a little bit. Especially, what I'm shocked we haven't done, I don't want any airlines coming from New York or the Northeast from here.
Yeah,
because they seem to have larger outbreaks
I
because
talked
of
to
weather.
a buddy of mine in New York yesterday, and he said, and I was planning on coming to New York, he said, you do understand, if you come to New York, you have to be quarantined for 3 days. And
We
you have
should
to
be doing
test
that
if
here.
you come from out of state.
We should
Yeah.
be doing that here.
I know. I don't disagree with that.
Should we do that here with 1,300 cases? I might contradict my own self. Because, it's already here. Like, when I go somewhere now, I have to fill out something, have you been out of the country? And I'm like, seriously? That's not COVID. We're way
And
past
people
that.
do lie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true, too. When you fill
I
out
feel
those
so much
forms-
safer. Did anyone else pack your suitcase?
Well, that could be the biggest
no.
mistake I've ever made was not buying Google. That could be one line, but especially when Thailand's involved. But anyway, we're going to wrap up there. We're approaching an hour. We'll be right back with part 2 of this to talk about whether we'll take the vaccines or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right about after this break.